Welcome, everyone, to Selling on Purpose, a small business basics two-part series with guest speaker David Cohen. This session is hosted by the City of Mississauga, the Small Business Enterprise Center. The Small Business Enterprise Center, also known as MBEC, we are here focused on supporting you, the small business owner. So if you don't know about MBEC, we are part of the city's Economic Development Office, helping small business owners, entrepreneurs, those that are starting and scaling their business, providing them with information, guidance, mentorship, programs, all of that sort of central place where you can find information for your business through all different stages. Mississauga.ca/MBEC is the only URL that you have to remember because it's going to take you to that place where you can find out how to contact us, different resources, up-to-date programs, as well as our social media handles. So you can go to the bottom of the page once you get onto that small business economic development page and connect with us on social as well. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. You can also subscribe to our newsletter. So if you don't see something right away, you will be in touch with us. Right in your inbox, you will get information. So I hope you'll connect with us there, mississauga.ca/MBEC. I'm Laura Dunkley. I'm the digital marketing consultant there and happy to be your host for today. Selling on Purpose, a two-part webinar series about sales. And this is presented to us, and not just presented, but David's actually going to lead us through a very engaging instruction type session today. So we are privileged to have you here, David. You are an author, business coach, facilitator, former host and producer, and creator of the Small Business Big Ideas show, heard weekly for over 9 years. You've taught thousands of people, not-for-profit, for-profit sectors, and you help, and this is really important, specialize in helping small business owners mine their strengths, get clear on their value, their markets, and then begin to develop a sales and marketing game plan that gets results. A multitude of experience throughout the city working with small business owners. You've also done multiple presentations, and maybe later you can talk about this keynote presentation that you mentioned, the 8 Keys to Success. How I got to kiss the Stanley Cup, and his new keynote called A Breakthrough Through the Glass. Maybe you'll have to talk to us a little bit more about that later.
Play for the Leafs, if anyone.
And you're passionate about all of this. And and I thank you and welcome you today to our session.
Wow, good morning. I'm so excited about this Thursday. I'm calling it the Thursday morning sales boost, Selling on Purpose. Welcome, everybody. Of course, you now know about the Mississauga Business Enterprise Center. I hope you heard what they're offering you as a business owner in terms of the resources, the training, the updates about what's going on. I do work with other centers, and Mississauga is heads and tails above anybody else. And they have a really dedicated, hardworking team. And Laura will attest to this. They're working, remotely, but they're working harder probably now than they were in the office, right? So welcome to everybody. Nice to see some faces or names. Carol and Karsten from Peru, and Helen, good morning to you. So on tap today, we're going to talk about research. Actually, it's going to be the 7-step sales process. I've added a step just for today. How to conduct the prospecting process, how to structure your client sessions and position yourself as an expert, and how to present your solutions to the client and more. That's going to be over the next 2 weeks. All right. So let's get to it. There's I'm going to have you answer questions and write in the chat and everything. So we're going to be monitoring the chat. So this isn't just me speaking the whole time. This is going to be really interactive. Okay. So I want you to get involved and take notes and answer questions and do all that fun stuff. So in today's business climate, I think, am I picking out the elephant in the room? One can say it's changed. And so, what are some sales tactics we cannot do anymore? Any ideas? What are some sales tactics that we cannot do anymore? You want to write them in the chat? Door to door. Yeah, thanks, Helen. Anything else? You can't push your own agenda. And you have to be really mindful of where people are at. Everybody's in a different space right now, right? So three things, what now? Next question is, yeah, cold calling. Well, you can still do cold calling, Laura. You just want to warm it up, maybe. What are three things we must do to be more effective in attracting clients? Cold calling would be one. What are three things we must do to be more effective in attracting clients? Any ideas there? I think being informational, educating the client, social media, yeah, using it effectively. Carolina says, be relatable. Yes, for sure. This is excellent. All right, yeah, be relatable, have empathy for people, provide ideas, get good reviews, provide ideas, use email effectively, Hossein, yeah. So yeah, great ideas. Add value, yeah, Kashubu, yeah, for sure. I hope I pronounced your name right. So customers are, in this day and age, are going through the stress of the day too. And there's a lot of uncertainty, and that may breed delays in decisions. And also, you're going to need new ways of relating to your customer. Okay, you're going to need new ways of relating to them. So what needs to happen in terms of the selling in this environment is you've got to be able to manage the environment that we're in. So my question to you is, what do you need to do to manage the client so that even if they don't buy now, they will buy in the future? What are some things you need to do in order to manage the client so that even though they don't buy now, they will manage in the future? Because really, client management and how you work with your customers is going to be really important for your sales success, not only today but moving forward post the pandemic and what we're going through. So, what do you need to do? Product updates, good. That, that, that's really important. What do you need to do to manage the client so that even if they don't buy now, they will buy in the future? Communication. Yes, Carissa, thank you. Consistent communication. Um, Automate communication. Yeah, if you can. But make it genuine, right? You want to come from the heart here, right? Regular communication. Ask how they're doing, Carol. Yeah, how you doing? What's going on? Like we're all. I found, and you probably have experienced this too in your business life. Somebody will add you or want to send you a connection on LinkedIn, and then you check their profile out and you go, oh, okay, I'll accept it, right? The next thing you know, they're hitting on you, right? Buy this. Show them charts and yeah, okay. So again, information. So you add somebody or you accept somebody on LinkedIn, and the next thing you know, they're hitting on you, and it's like, whoa, stop! Like, get to know me. So you have to really get to know the client and know where they're at right now, and then nurture the client until the time that they're ready to buy. So it's going to be really critical. So that answers hopefully, question two. How can you build trusting relationships with your clients? Any ideas there? How can you build trusting relationships with your clients? Because right now, trust is going to be really important for you in having sales success. So again, be consistent, Jacqueline says. So how do you build trusting relationships? Any other ideas? Be vulnerable. Yeah, risk being vulnerable. Hey, this is for me too. Networking, checking up, and not selling. Yeah, beautiful. Some really good answers. Okay, this is good. Identify their needs and suggest and not sell. Yeah, suggest, educate, identify needs. So you know what I mean? Like when somebody though hits you up on on LinkedIn, and the next thing they're selling to you, it's like they haven't taken time to get to know you, and it's really important right now to really get close to the customer and get to know them, right? And then try and stay in their world. Do you think it's okay to connect with past clients? Yes, I do. So I think it's okay to connect with past clients and just check in. Hey, how you doing? What can we do? Maybe you got an idea or a contact to them. Maybe you can help them in their business, right? So yeah, that's a great question. And then my last question here is, and just to get the conversation going is, what are 2 to 3 tactics that you can put into place that you can build your business for the future beyond the times we're in? What are 2 to 3 sales, marketing, business relationship tactics that you can put into place now and for the future? Yeah, any ideas there? No? Okay, all right, no worries. Oh, here we go. Start a community, prepare the client for the future so they come to you. I like community building. That's really important. Publishing posts with info, Carolina. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So these are some things that you can do. I created a referral program. Yeah, a reward program. Reward for referrals or reward for, you can find. Ask them to stay updated by following you on social media. Thanks, Carolina. Yeah, so yeah, really engage in your social media um, outlets that you use. Everybody's using different outlets. All right, so this is good. Nice way to start today's session. So we're going to talk, I mentioned the 7-step sales process. I've added an extra step. And really, the 7-step sales process is about positioning yourself as a consultant or a thought leader or a partner with your clients and prospects, right? It's not this sort of heavy-handed, you got to buy now or else approach. It's about really, being a consultative or an aide or an associate for your client so that your number one, sort of concern is their well-being and that they do well and they succeed, right? So the 7 steps is to prepare, and we're going to discuss these over the next few weeks. So you want to prepare. You want to be in the proper mindset to sell or to market or to be engaging with your clients. Then you want to do research, right? And you're doing research in a sales process, really? Yes. It's probably one of the more important steps, and we'll uncover that today too. And then we're going to look at prospecting, engaging with the customer in a way that makes sense for the times that we're in. We're going to look at step 4, which is the goal of prospecting is to get a meeting and to chat and discuss and probe the client just to see where they're at and how you can really serve them. And if you can serve them, if you're a good fit for the client. So we'll do that. That's more next week. We're going to look at presentations, overcoming objections, negotiation, doing the work, checking in, and nurturing relationships. So that's the 7-step sales process that we're going to walk you through over the next few weeks. So I've got this new part to the workshops, and it's called Think, Prepare, and Share with the Group. So what do you feel goes into consultative selling? So I want you to take a moment, think, prepare, and then share. So what do you feel goes into consultative selling? When we say the term consultative selling, what that means? What does that mean? Take a minute and we'll write it down. Understanding the customer's needs, the environment, collaboration, understanding the issues, understanding budget, providing ideas and solutions. Perfect. I'm really liking what I'm seeing there. Thank you for sharing that. So you can go in the chat and see the answers. They're great answers. So those are some really key principles in consultative selling. But the sort of the definition of consultative selling is this. It's really quite simple. It's a sales approach that prioritizes the relationship between you and the customer, and that it fosters open dialogue to identify and provide solutions to the customer's needs. And we had that in the answers. So it's really hyper focused on the customer rather than the product or the service being sold. And consultative selling is a technique that will help you to better understand the challenges faced by your customers so that you can then position yourself as a solutions provider, as an idea person, as someone that's there to help the customer go from here to here, right? From A to B, right? So, and you do it in a much more compelling and effective way. So it's a lot nicer to sell in a consultative style than it is to have that, you get those calls at night, for your ducts cleaning or we're selling the service or, you want to list your house. And it's like, consultative consultants take time to really understand the needs of the customer and then take time to meet and probe and ask good questions so that you can then provide really good solutions for those that you want to work with. So why does consultative selling make sense in these times? Again, another think, prepare, and share with the group. So why does selling in a consultative way make sense in the times that we're in? I mean, it makes sense every time, but especially now. Every customer is unique. Yeah, thank you. Every buyer now has specific needs. Yes. Potential customers are always looking for information that suits their needs. Thank you, Carolina. Anyone else want to share? Customers want to be understood for sure. They're always ads are intrusive. No one wants to be pushed. Yeah, people want to, connect. You want to connect with people on a level that's not so, pushy or heavy-handed. Builds trust. Yeah. So I love them. Like all these answers are like bang on, right? So for good business relationships to happen, when you take a consultative role and approach, it's more understanding the customer as opposed to just selling, straight selling, which is all about the transaction. So the relationship, building trust, and Titan says, I missed that one. It comes in and fades. So the relationship between you and the customer uh, is really about building trust. And if you can have that in mind when you're working with people, what am I going to do to build trust, right? How am I going to better understand the customer? How am I going to see if, this customer, is a good fit, right? And am I a good fit for them? So serving the customer with integrity is more important than any transaction or deal. And that's what consultative selling is also about. It's about long-term, ongoing deals and being of service to the clients that you work with. It's knowing that your customer counts on you to come through when it counts. Because truth be told, as much as you need the customer for revenue, they need you to help them with the thing you're going to help them with. I'll take, for example, somebody on the call here today, Carol, who does healing and reflexology. Her customers count on her to help them with, health, stress management, and wellness, right? And they'll pay a top dollar for her service. So you've got to remember that your customer needs you as much as you need them, and that long-term, ongoing win-win relationship is really, really important for you to succeed now as an entrepreneur. And you've got to start thinking and act long term. It's not about the sale for the sale's sake. It's about there's a great retailer out of the States. His name is Chris Zane, Zane, and he owns Zane Cycles. And there's some videos about him talking about CLV. And you're probably thinking, CLV, what's CLV? CLV is customer lifetime value, right? And so he looks at a customer not as one transaction that they're coming in to buy a bike. He's looking at the lifetime value of that customer, because not only they're going to buy a bike for themselves, but as they get older, maybe they're going to buy a bike for their their partner. They're going to maybe buy a bike for their kids. Then they're going to maybe buy a new bike. Maybe they're going to have it serviced. So the value of a customer is not one transaction. It's not one, $200 or $300 bike. It's actually $5,000 in equipment, bikes, clothing, whatever. It's actually $5,000, which is really, really, quite amazing if you think about it, right? So you have to figure out the lifetime value. You have first, if you can figure out your lifetime value, that would be good. I think you need to sort of have some traction. So if you're a new business owner, I think it would be hard to figure that out. But if you kind of do a little kind of future planning and you go, okay, what's my average sale going to be? How much, what's the repeat business factor like? You can kind of calculate it out. If you're new, you can kind of come up with some estimates. But you've got to factor in, of course, timing, time of year, things of that nature. What the social economic situation is. Shubu says, I think most of the times we forget that customers need us as much as we need them. Yeah, we do, because we're a little bit desperate, in terms of getting the sale. And you have to have a belief in yourself and in the value that you bring to the customer. And we're going to look at all those things over the next two sessions, today and next Thursday as well. Takan says, I believe that we have to be more human in this critical time. Totally. And then Yaman says, ads are so intrusive. No one likes to be pushed into buying something and would rather be given the option to understand why they need the product or service. Totally. So yeah. So look up after today, Chris Zane from Zane Cycles. He's the #1 selling bike shop in all of North America, not just the US. He's based in Connecticut, I think, but all over. And he's got some nice videos and books about his success formula at Zane Cycles. So it's quite something. So again, let's get into that 7-step. Remember I said, little bonus step today, 7-step sales process. The most important thing you can do is prepare to sell. So you got to prepare mentally, emotionally, physically, strategically, and tactically, right? You want to be your best. How can you prepare mentally? Anybody want to take that on? How can you get into that good mental state that when you're maybe going to reach out and talk to people or make not a cold call, but a warm call, that you're in a good state of mind? What do you need to do? Yeah, have self-confidence for sure. Know your stuff. Be confident. Yeah. Yeah, be confident. Be upbeat. Have a positive mindset. Exactly, Imran. Thank you. You hit the nail on the head. Yeah, have a positive mindset, right? Know your stuff. Believe in what you're doing. What about emotionally? Just, being good emotionally and physically. Just be fresh. I find and be passionate. Yeah, Carol, you can be passionate. So that's the emotion. Have a gut feel to win. I love it. Good. And physically, be upbeat. If you're feeling like maybe you're a little down one day, do some exercise. An exercise could be, dress well, have a healthy eating, have a schedule. Great shares in the chat. Wow. Yeah, you guys are awesome today. I love this. Even though it doesn't turn into sale, again, focus on the relationship. We need to understand that good things are coming. Yeah, salespeople are positive. I mean, we're not negative Nellies, you know. We're not going, oh no, I'll never get a sale ever again. We're always like, we always have to have hope, right? Have a schedule, dot your I's and cross your T's. Do your bed in the morning. Be organized. Jay, thank you. I don't know if you've ever read Mel Robbins. The book is The 5 Second Rule, but she actually talks about making your bed. Dress up well, Joan says. And again, Imran, have a gut feeling to win. And Jay says, being healthy. Yeah, be healthy. Have fresh air to clear the mind. Again, even if it doesn't turn into a sale, you know, just move to the future, because eventually the customer or the person you're talking to is going to buy. So Joan says, even spiritual aspects like prayer, meditation, to be calm and focused. Totally, Joan, totally. I'm a big believer actually of having a morning ritual, and I practice it every day. I've already done it today. Kishubu says, be sensitive to people's needs. Yes, be sensitive. We have our own agenda. Let's face it. We got to make a living. We want to get the sale. You know, we want to, you know, we gotta, you know, we gotta pay the bills too. So that's a given. But you know, again, for good success to happen, you have to sort of, you know, be in tune with your customer. I've got some really nice other comments in the chat. I gotta do nice rewards for yourself, like a bouquet of flowers. You know, what do you think about email list, emailing once a month just to stay in touch? I've not maintained this. I think it's okay, Jay. I'm finding personally that people aren't reading emails as much. Maybe you could do a video, like a short video, and have a YouTube channel and post the video up on a YouTube channel and send you know, like a 1 or 2 minute tip, right? But I'm finding with emails the click open rate has gone down a little bit, and that's just because we're really bombarded by information, and time seems to be of the essence these days. If we're working from home, we're not just working. We now have kids maybe to take care of, home duties, and our work. So people are really being mindful of their time. So just if you're going to do an email, make it short and to the point, and maybe if you can set up a YouTube channel and send a little like YouTube. Here's my weekly tip or my monthly tip, and it's 2 minutes long. People will spend 2 to 3 minutes. What's hard for them is spending 30 minutes with you. Okay. Work the clients through a process. Yeah, that 7-step sales process. Sell not at a price, at someone's reality. Yeah, you got to know their budget. This is great stuff in the chat. So you want to be prepared, okay? So I was talking about having a morning ritual and the power of this. So personally, and this comes from a book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. I get up early and I journal. I do gratitude. I could even show it to you. I do a gratitude journal. Here's my journal. It's almost done. And I do things I'm grateful for. And then I do affirmations or questions. How did I get so successful? You know, or how did this happen? You know, so or affirmations. And then I meditate, and then I exercise, and I read. So now to take on the day, I'm upbeat, right? I'm positive, and I schedule my sales time usually first thing in the morning, 8:30 to 9:30, and that's it. I make my calls for no more than an hour while I'm fresh and I'm exuberant, right? And then the reason I only do an hour is that's enough, because you're going to face rejection. And if that's how you're starting your day, with rejection, it's not a lot of fun. So just do an hour and then move on to other customer development work, posting on social media. Maybe there is an online networking event you can attend. Maybe you can work on proposals. Maybe you can work on new, you know, service and product development, right? So there's other ways to do things in terms of your process and your calendar and taking on the day. So yeah, you want to be prepared mentally, emotionally, physically, strategically, and tactically. So strategically, you know, are you strategic in your approach? Are you having meaningful conversations when you call a client? Are you getting across the value of your offer, right? Really important. And tactically, are the things you're doing paying a dividend? Are you getting return on your investment? And your investment might not be dollars and cents. It could just be, am I getting, return on the customers I'm going after? Am I getting return on my messaging? Am I getting return on my time? Right? So, thanks. Somebody said I'm already making the sales process easier to an hour and stuff. So it's with intention. Yes, be intentional. Tactically offer square peg and for the square hole. Yeah. And start to model other business owners that are succeeding. What are they doing? What's their messaging? Right? So that's step one in the sales process. Get prepared. The other thing I do in terms of preparation, I'll get to it in a second. Now we're going to do the think, prepare, share. This is a new little component for the sales training session today. What might you do yourself to get prepared to sell? So we've talked about a few critical things here and some habits and things you can put into place. What can you do to be prepared to sell? Can you come up with 3 to 5 actions that you can take in order to be prepared to sell? And again, think, prepare, and share. I'll just wait here and we'll take up the answers. Ambition to win, Imran. Yeah, I love it. Know the client and the business well. Beautiful. Imran again. Thank you. This is great. So what can you do? 3 to 5 actions to get prepared. Build community. Yeah, on your social media. It's build a community. Build your tribe, right? Share your vision and your dream with them. Know the client's business really well. Yeah. Understand the purpose behind what you're doing and use that as the foundation. Yeah, that's the strategy, right? Strategy is the underlying sort of thing that it's the glue that you and the foundation that you build up from. What's the strategy? Breathe, focus, align. Show you're acting as a partner, not as a vendor. These are great. Carol, be prepared for some rejection. It will happen and it's okay. Actually, 90% of the time, Carol. I hate to say that to everybody, but it's true. This is great. Great answers. Thank you. Let's move forward. And I'm going to get you, earn the trust rather than the business. Another great one. Be prepared to revise goals. Yeah, it's okay to, hey, maybe I got to shift my goals a little bit. So here's your preparation checklist. And all of those answers should go into this. But what goes on the list? Plan. Have a sales plan. What am I going to do to get a client? Right? What are the steps I need to take? And have that sales plan. What are you going to do? Like your market, there's a distinction between your marketing and your sales. Your marketing is everything you do to get people coming to you, right? Your sales is the process of, okay, now that they're in the door, how are we going to, structure that? What are we going to do? What are the steps I'm going to run through? So, one is prospecting, probing, having that meeting, getting ideas, doing presentation. Maybe I got to overcome objections. Maybe I got to negotiate a little bit, asking for the sale, doing the work, checking in, how we doing, you happy, right? And then nurturing the relationship. So you're to be prepared, have a plan, right? Prepare your ideal client list, like Ghostbusters. Who are you going to call, right? Who are you going to call? Who is your ideal client, right? Why are you calling on them? What goes into making up who your ideal client is? It's really important for you to know, like if I said, go sell your product or service, you got to think of like, well, who am I going to sell to? So you got to know like who needs it, who's got the budget, where's some action happening, who's spending, right? So you want to prepare your ideal client list and also get clear in your mind of who is that ideal client and what goes in to making them an ideal client. Tatian says, I'm going to just go back to that. I'm going to go to the chat. Understand your customer's needs. You need to be honest with clients. You need to have purpose and sell exactly what your product or service offers. Beautiful. Yeah. Step 3 on the list, book time in your days for client development. No more than 90 minutes. I like first thing in the morning. Brian Tracy, one of the best sales experts, alludes to that as drinking the frog, which, if you can imagine, wouldn't be really too appealing. So do the hard things first, and then the rest of the day can flow from there. It can be a lot easier. So book time in your days for client development, right? Plan for it. Know what you're going to say to each new client when you do reach out, right? Practice what you're going to say. Practice with a buddy. Get an accountability partner maybe, and have stretch goals and set some really big goals. You never know, if you don't try, you don't get there, right? Prepare yourself for worst case scenarios. What if somebody does hang up the phone, or says no, or swears at you in another language, right? These are all things that can happen. So you just need to be prepared for the rejection and worst case scenarios, and kind of be okay with that. Be secure enough in yourself that, okay, if somebody's that rude to me now, I don't know if I really want to work with a customer ever, right? And make sure you have proper contact info. Sometimes what I'll do after I call somebody is I'll mail them a package. And nothing worse than misspelling somebody's name or getting the wrong address, or that could be a career, a sales limiting move, never mind a career limiting move. And then develop a rock solid sales letter, and really have some nice collateral material to send out. I usually like to send out a little tchotchke, so a little pen, or some sort of treat, or a magnet, something with my logo on it. So these are some things that go on the list. Any questions on this? Comment? Anything else you'd add? So, know what you're going to say to people. It's really important. We're going to get into this. Don't worry. And then practice. How do you deal with potential clients that only want information and will not buy? I think you have to ask them, like, do you intend to buy from us? And and another really good question is, what would I have to do to get your business? I don't know about you, but I don't like messing around. I want to be direct. I want to know that the client's real, so I can be real with them. And what I'll ask that, like, what do I have to do to get your business? Or I've been in a meeting where it's like, I got up and I said, it looks like I'm spinning wheels here. Where am I missing? What do I need to really connect with you? And where am I missing? Where am I not giving you what you need? Right? So, and because here's the thing, like, I'm committed to being professional. I'm committed to doing the best for my client. Tell me, client, what do I need in order for that to happen? So I think it's okay to ask those tough questions. I remember going to a gym a number of years ago as a guest, and the owner came up to me, and uh, he asked me. I was on the treadmill, and he said, "So we see you're a guest, and you've come here a few times as guest, and that's because where I was working at this place downtown Toronto once a week, and but I live in the north side, and I belong to a gym near where I live." And I said, and he asked, he said, "What do we have to do to get your business?" And I love that question because it's direct. And I said, really, I'm only at this. I work out around the corner. I'm only here once a week. Ideally, you have to open up near where I live because that's my home gym. And he kind of got it, and he laughed, and we had a little. He said, I said, "I love your gym. I like coming here as a guest. If you give me brochures, I'd be happy to share them at work and put them out and promote your gym. But I'm not here enough to join." Right? It was a really nice gym too. So that's a question. I hope that answers your question. That's a question you can ask. What do we have to do? Where am I missing? Tell me what I need to do to entice you or get you interested, or what you need for us to move forward and work together, right? Because you don't want to waste your time too, and you don't want to waste the customer's time. Hey, you're welcome. So that's the list, that's the prep list, and you've come up with some great answers too. Can you think of anything else to put on your prep list? Think, prepare, and share. Give you about a minute. And if you're wondering, we're going to have a stretch break. We're not going to work it to the bone here today. One thing I put on my prep list is I make sure my space is clean. Every time I call a new client, I open a file, not just online. Actually, I'm actually a little old school here, folks. I get one of these, right? That's one of my clients. So then I can take notes, and when I meet them in person, or on Zoom, and I'm writing notes. Whoop, my file just dropped. But I'll write notes and my meeting notes. I'll write them out. So let's go to the chat and see what we got. It's important to know your market and your competitors, and after that, to create an efficient strategic plan for your product or service. Yeah. Limit distractions. Make sure I'm not hungry. Yeah. Make sure your needs are taken care of. I got water going here, right? Or coffee. Um, it, Anticipating what last minute things client may need and ask. Be prepared. Be prepared for no. How am I going to handle the rejection? How do you deal with potential clients? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So those are some good shares and good ads. So way to go. So I think we have a pretty good list in terms of preparing, getting our minds, our bodies, our attitude, our physicality, being prepared to sell, because selling, I find it easy that I'm doing it, but it's not easy. And it's not easy for the rejection that might happen. It's not easy for the fact that people might not return your calls. It's not easy because of the head game that we play with ourselves, that when we're not getting results, we're beating ourselves up, or we're saying we're not good enough, right? And trust me, you are good enough. It's just the way things are. Move forward, right? It's just the way things are. Before we take a 3-minute stretch break, I'm going to share a little bit of my journey. So Laura, at the introduction, shared that I did a radio show for 9 years called the Small Business Big Idea Show. And I started that from scratch. And how it worked back in 2002, when I started, was I had to buy the airtime from the radio station for the hour, and then I would resell it to advertisers. So I'm selling a concept that didn't even exist. Nothing. I had no history. I had no sound, no tapes, no experience. Well, I did have experience with school with broadcast journalism, but I had nothing other than here's my idea, and I called on 125 possible advertisers. So here's what I did. I made my list. I made a contact list, and my since it was a small business talk show, I called on companies that wanted to do business with small businesses, right? So I made a list: insurance companies, tech companies, clothing stores. Hey, look your best, right? Um, Office supplies, um, software, whatever. Like all those kinds of companies, I made a list of who they were, and I started to write down the contact information, and I started to call. Right, I called on 125 possible prospects or possible advertisers. I got rejected 120 times. I got 5 to say yes. It barely broke even in terms of the cost. I didn't even make money. And I bought a 13-week trial run. and I didn't even make money, but I did it. I called on 125 and I got rejected 120 times. That hurts. And so your mind is going to play tricks on you. And you got to kind of separate your mind and those tricks from the reality. And you somehow have to find it inside of you to keep going and just maybe change things up, change your tactics, change your strategy, change what you're going to say, maybe take a break from the prospecting calls and do something else, right? So just be mindful of that. All right. That's why you need to prepare, and you got to be, you got to be secure and solid and believe in yourself. I really believed in that concept, and it worked. Right now, the next 13 weeks that I bought, that I went on, uh, I made money, right? Because now I had something. Now people started to know me, and I was out there networking and all that stuff. And then I went full time with it for 7 seasons, and then 2 more on an online radio station. So it will take shape. You just have to believe that. Let's go for a 3 minute stretch break. Maybe stretch, get up, shake your body from head to toe. Let's shake, right? And move and stretch a little bit. Ah, yeah. So take a 3 minute stretch break, and we'll come back with more. Hope you're enjoying.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
you're there. I just figured for 3 minutes we'll make sure we do that. And I have a sit stand desk, so I'm very grateful for that because I can not leave and still stand.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Oh, it's so good.
you can shake. I'm gonna just come right back. Okay.
Nope, that's okay. I did my 3 minute, and then we can chat for anyone who is still here. So thanks everyone for all the engagement. Lots of good information, and I know it's hard through WebEx to do this kind of one-way communication, but totally appreciate everyone who's been able to do that and stay on board and share any of your tips and things along the way too, because it's nice to be able to share those things amongst us. Another good thing that I got, well, we got 1 minute, blue light glasses. I don't know if anyone else has tried those, but sitting in front of a computer for the amount of time since COVID started, my eyes were getting very strained. So really appreciating the blue light glasses. And someone did ask about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is next week. I can drop the registration in the chat. It was unfortunately scheduled during Remembrance Day. So we will have a moment of silence at 11 o'clock too. So whoever wants to join us will be able to partake in that as well.
Good for you. I'm doing a webinar too at that time, and I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, because I mean, time is limited, but we definitely want to respect that. It's really important for me and for all of us at the city to commemorate that.
Yeah. For the blue light, Stefani asked, I have an app on my computer to get blue light off and on my phone.
Yes. That's if you have a Mac, I think it defaults to that. Anyways, some of the newer Macs, you don't even have to worry about that. I know for this, unfortunately, I have a PC, a non-Mac for work, which means I have a non-Mac monitor. And when I do the non-blue light, it makes the monitor go very odd. So it is nice when technology supports that, but I've had to use the glasses for my work monitor. But I have a Mac station too. So when I get to go over to the Mac station for my own stuff, it is quite nice to not have to worry about that. Let me just drop the LinkedIn one in. And actually, this is great timing, David, with your sales webinar right before my LinkedIn. It's like you guys will be able to take all of these tips and strategies and be able to learn about the LinkedIn platform and leverage everything you've known. So I'll be curious on getting feedback from people on that.
Carol's funny. And Imran, yes, you can add me on LinkedIn. I'll try and share it. But I'm there. Carol says, for the stretch break, does that include running upstairs to steal candy from her children's Halloween bag? Yes.
Oh, I miss those days of having small children.
I know.
Oh, yeah, and can't really eat that stuff anymore.
No.
Cool. Good. Well, David, I will
All right.
hide in the background and let you take over again.
Okay. Yeah, no snoring. Okay. This,
No snoring. I'm paying attention.
I know. I'm gonna test you later. Okay. Hopefully you all have a little snack, a shake, a little dancing and moving. Let's get going into the 7-step sales process. So prepare. You did that. Research, prospect, engage, network, attract. Right. Meet, discuss, ask good questions, present, ask for the sale, overcome objections, negotiate, and ask again. Do the work and check in with the client. How are we doing? Are we happy? What do we have to improve? Right? And then nurture the relationship. So that's the 7-step sales process. 7 steps to heaven. So research. Here's my question. Why is research the 2nd step of the sales process? Why is research the 2nd step of the sales process? So now we know we need to be prepared. We need to know who we're going to call on. We need to know what we're going to say. We need to know all of that, right? But research is step number 2. Dane, hey, welcome, Dane. Nice to see you. Dane says, okay, all right. Yes, we're going to send the slides and recording later. Yeah, find the competition. Once you get the project, then you'll, I'm just going to the chat here. Naboo says, once you get the project, then you'll invest your time and money in it, understand the competition, better understand your target market. Oh yeah, totally. Position yourself, knowing yourself and your niche, regulation. Yeah, good answers in the chat. So research helps you understand your clients. That's you got to know where they're at, right? You got to know, how much do they buy? Are they buying? What are their challenges? What are the issues? How can you help them, right? You got to know about your competitors, and then you got to know about yourself. What do you bring to the table, as far as how do you help your customers get the result that you're doing, right? Joan says, understand the, I got to just go back to the chat because it pops up on my screen and then it just disappears. Understanding the emotions behind why they sell my product or not the competitor. Thanks, Joan. Good. Yeah, but you have to understand. Okay, you got to understand your clients. Got to know what's going on in their world so you can talk their language. Then you want to know what's going on with your competitors, right? What are they doing? What are they doing? All that. How they succeeding? Why aren't they succeeding? And then you've got to know yourself, right? Know thyself. Great philosopher Socrates once said. So, how does knowing these 3 things help you do business? Any ideas? How does knowing these 3 things help you do business? All right, let's move forward just for the sake of time. Research, really important. Know thyself. You have to know what is the impact you've got on your customers. You've got to be clear on the results you provide for your customers. Yeah, Imran says it differentiates you from your customers. Your ideas differentiate you from your competitors. So your big idea is what's going to differentiate you from others, and that is what's going to attract the ear or the attention of your customers. We're all buying for attention. We're all, buying for an ear. We're all wanting a meeting. That's the goal of prospecting. The goal of prospecting isn't to sell. It's to get that next meeting so that the sales process can take shape. So you have to know what impact you have on your customers. How do you help them, right? How do you help them get results? What are those results? People want to know, what are you going to do for me, right? And how are you going to help me? And you've got to be clear on communicating the value of what you do, right? You got to be clear as to what do you bring to the table. You've got to know how your industry as a whole helps the customer achieve a result or a goal. And you've got to know the benefits of what you offer. So why does your client listen when you understand how you can help them or impact them? You think of 3 reasons why your client might be a little more, their ears are open when you discuss with them how you can help them. Just take a time to think, prepare, and share. Why would somebody listen when you're saying, hey, this is what we do for you? Here are the results we can get for you. Is this something that would be of interest to you? Why would somebody listen to that? Yeah, they find you, maybe you're innovative. Thank you, Henry. You're coming to them with ideas and solutions. Yeah, Carissa, you're building trust. You're not going for the jugular, right? You're not going for the, hey, you want to buy this? No, you're going there with an idea or a solution that might help them, right? So really important to really get clear as to what you do and what you bring to the table. And what you bring to the table, Dean says, because I can really explain the process of what we do. Yeah, it's the process, but also the result that that process brings. So I'm going to share with you, this is a really important part of today, and it's called the value equation. So there's an equation for value. And the value equation is simply this. It's the sum of your benefits minus cost equals value. So as a business owner, there's 4 benefits that we need to sort of think about. If you're a service, like Dane is a service, well, it's a product too. But okay, Carol, because I know you, I'm going to pick on you. You've got a service. So a service, she does healing work and reflexology, right? If you're a product, so maybe you got a product that you're selling, widgets or whatever. I don't know why I said that, but maybe you got a product. You got to know the benefits. What does that service or product do? What's the end result that the client gets from working with you, right? And then you also have to know the relationship. What's the relationship you want the client to have when they think of you, right? There's a relationship benefit. And I'm going to get to these. And then the last thing you need to work on is your brand. So you want to think, if you're in business now, you got to be really clear as to what your service or product does for the customer. And you want to be really clear on how you're going to really enhance the relationship and make the buying experience a really good experience. And then you want to be consistent in your look, the feel, and the branding of what you do. So when you have and you're clear on the benefits of all of these, minus cost equals value, and that's the value equation. So it's the sum of your benefits minus cost equals value. Imran writes that clients feel that you understand their business and challenges well and can create value. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. Thank you for that. So that's the value equation. So let's dive a little deeper. So I've got spinach here on the screen, and spinach is a product. These are examples of the 4 benefits. Spinach is a product loaded with benefits. It's got vitamin K, which is good for your eyes. It's got antioxidants that prevents cancer in both men and women. It's a green superfood. It's loaded with nutrients. It's ideal for all the diets that are out there, the keto-friendly diets. It's really healthy. And, when I say all that, does price really matter? No, because look at all the things, having spinach on a day-to-day diet can do for you, right? these are just a few of the benefits of spinach. And so when you're clear on what it does for you, all of a sudden the price doesn't matter. Now it doesn't hurt spinach, but it's pretty inexpensive. So now you might think of buying spinach next time you go to the grocery store, right? So spinach is a really good example of a product that's loaded with benefits. And if you want to do further research on it, there's more benefits than what I've just listed here. Now, a good example of the service benefit is FedEx. And they were so confident about their service that their slogan a few years ago used to be, when it absolutely positively has to get there next day delivery or else, right? So when you have to send a package to a client that lives in another city or another country, you're going to send it FedEx because that's their promise. The benefit of their service is next day delivery or else. And by the way, when it absolutely positively has to get there next day or else, right? And so you're going to pay whatever it is for that service because when your package does have to get there next day delivery or else, you're going to use FedEx. So that's a really good example of a company that really understood their value, right? FedEx is a service benefit. So we've got the product benefit and now a service benefit. FedEx is that. The next is a brand benefit. Heinz ketchup, love them or hate them, they were so confident about their brand that their slogan a few years ago was, there are no other kinds. And yet, if you go to a grocery store, there's at least 4 other kinds of ketchup out there. Can anybody name them? There's 4 other kinds. French's, yeah. Yeah, there's 3 more. I'll just share that President's Choice, Branston. Okay, there's 4 more then. No name Nescafe. I'm not sure Nescafe makes ketchup, but Great Value. Yeah, so those are the store brands, but there's other brands. So Aylmer makes tomatoes. They also make ketchup. Oh yeah, you're in the UK. Okay, Joan, I didn't know that. Welcome to you today. So there's Aylmer's, there's Hunt's, and E.D. Smith, who we know more for jams, but they also make ketchup. So we don't go to a grocery store with the idea in mind that I'm going to buy some Hunt's ketchup today, right? We go to the grocery store, we see the Heinz ketchup bottle, and we go, oh yeah, I know Heinz, I can trust that. There are no other kinds. You don't go to the grocery store with, oh, I'm going to buy Hunt's ketchup, And if you came back to your home with Hunt's, your family would probably send you back to the grocery store, right? So Heinz is a really good example of a brand benefit. They're so confident in their brand that their slogan was, there are no other kinds. And yet there are. We just discovered that, right? And then a really good example of a relationship benefit, there's a few, but one that comes to my mind is Allstate Insurance. And, their slogan is, you're in good hands with Allstate, right? So you know that if something happened, you're going to be protected. And there's that trust. And that's all they get across. Now, when you think of Allstate, you're thinking, oh, I'm in good hands, trust. They're going to take care of me when things get rocky or I have a problem, right? So that's their whole, ad strategy. I've seen the new ads, the guy sitting in, I think, New York City in a nice comfy chair in traffic, but he's protected. All the cars go around him. He's there in a nice chair that you'd have in your living room. And he says, you're in good hands with Allstate. You're safe, right? So that's a really good example of a relationship benefit. So a relationship benefit is something, what's the image, what's the impression that you want your customers to have when they think of you, okay? The brand benefit's going to take work and time, but the product and service benefit are the 2 key benefits you've got to get really, 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 really crystal clear. So good conversations with a customer start with when you're clear about communicating your benefits. So in order to begin a conversation, and this could be at a networking event, I'm doing online networking, and we go into these little, it's like speed networking. So we go into these little rooms together for 5 minutes with somebody, and you have a conversation. So And then, of course, there's the old, the old dreaded warm call or cold call that you're going to have. So in order to begin a conversation with any prospect, you've got to let them know what you do for them and share a few key benefits or outcomes that your prospect or client would get once they bought your goods or services. Okay? So here's an example. Apple computers. What do you think their benefit is? What do you think Apple computers benefit is? So somebody was from Apple and they were calling it innovation and safety. Yeah, Imran, beautiful. Innovation, design, right? Ease of use, functionality, right? These are things that people want. You've got to be able to communicate what it is you do and can offer your clients in terms of a direct benefit that's going to help them in their life or their business. Empowerment. Yeah, feel empowered. What are the benefits of Starbucks? Checking in is trusting relationships are very important. Yeah, some brands have good communication. What they communicate doesn't actually offer this. Yeah, trust. Okay, what about Starbucks? When you see Starbucks, what do you think of? I think of quality. I think of really good service. I think of uh, design, personalization. Carolyn says, yeah, I love their how they display their stores and the displays, consistency, nice place to hang, quality service, aroma. Everyone says, yeah. So these are benefits, right? This is part of the user experience. So you really want to get clear as to what is it that you bring to the table. How do you help your clients? What are the benefits of what you do? So you just really makes examples there. And then what I want you to work on is I want you to get clear and think about your business and your customer. We talked about Apple, we talked about Starbucks. What I want you to do is develop your own value proposition. And your value proposition communicates to your customer, first of all, who do you work with? Well, we work with busy working moms. And what's their challenge? Time. They're really stressed for time. What have we created for them? Well, we create a home services company that comes, does cleans up the home, and does yard work. So it allows the busy couple or moms to have more time for their kids and their business for their work, right? So that's a good example of a value proposition. You might want to add in safety and cleanliness, given the current situation we're in. So who do you work with? What's their big challenge? What have you created for them? And how does it impact their lives? And this is known as the value proposition, and it's used in the business model canvas. So the business model canvas is a one-page chart that maps out your business. Okay, and it can be used in place of a business plan, but I'm not a big believer of that. I think you still need to have your business plan, and the business model canvas is also a nice thing to do. Okay, so just take a few minutes and work on this. Who do you work with? What's their challenge? What have you created for them? How does it impact their lives? And then share it. Okay, and I'll give you a few minutes to work on it. Carolina, thank you for your value proposition. what I want to know is how does that impact their lives? So when they achieve their goals, what's the result of that? Okay. But Carolina says, I work with potential immigrants. I help them navigate the law and achieve their goals. So you just need to be, what's the outcome of when they achieve their goal? And then you add, I created a trustworthy and ethical service. That's good. But I like the first one better. But what is it that they achieve? Or what's the outcome of achieving their goals? They can feel maybe you open the door to a better life by immigrating. There we go. Okay. So you're almost done there. So I work with potential new immigrants who need help to navigate the law and achieve a better life by immigrating to Canada. And that's your value proposition. Okay, that's good. Good work. Thanks, Carolina. Anybody else have one? Who do you work with? What's their challenge? What have you created for them? And how does it impact their lives? Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure. Okay, now we're seeing some more. Good, good, good. Dean, that's a little long, Dean. You got to shorten up, man. But you're the first online service helping people process European Union citizenship and passport based on ancestry from beginning to end. Our software application will reduce the cost and the complexity of the immigration process, while the precision will augment by minimally, blah, 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 blah. I just lost that, by minimally using professional legal immigration services. Okay, not bad, but you got to just shorten it up, tighten it up. Okay, a little bit of mindful editing. But you're on track. You're on the right track. Imran says, I work with a steel company. Challenges to get new customer. I started an email marketing and get 12% conversion and increased market share. So again, just tighten it up to fit more of this 4-question formula. But Imran, you're really on track. Good work. Good work. You're welcome, Dean. Or Sister Carolina. Somebody else. That's better, Dean. Good. I'm reading it. And then the second version short. Yeah, short. The shorter the better. If you can simplify it, that's where the magic is. Okay. Because people don't have all day, right? And you got to just, like I put my value proposition on my website. I'll use it in my sales letters. People don't have all day to, read a long-winded version of your, of your value proposition. I'm just going to share, and then I work with business owners who need graphic design experts to create print and digital marketing material, advertise their products and services so they can grow their business, right? Again, how does that impact their lives? So I know what you do, and how does that impact their lives, right? So they get to, communicate and to their clients and build and grow their businesses and get more sales. Carissa says, at Waterfall of Wellness, we offer unique holistic wellness products and services to empower families to embrace self-care and find balance in their prenatal and postpartum experiences. So you might even want to start with, I work with expecting moms or new moms, right? We provide beautiful wellness products to empower you, embrace self-care in this time of change, and to find balance in your prenatal and postpartum experience. All right, just a little tweak there. Assisting organizations in the bid to get customers' data secured. That's a good one. And I work with, Tatchan says, I work with doctors. My challenge is find better treatments for their patients. I try to offer effective medications with a differentiated service and focus on helping patients prepare to the treatment. Okay. Wow. Good stuff. And last, Kashubu, as a project coordinator acting as a common thread between the client and team, I've ensured that we don't lose the human touch and we deliver these customized digital experiences. Again, you're close there, Kashubu. Who do you work with? So who's your ideal client? What's their challenge? How do you create it for them, which you said, right? And then how does it impact their lives? You've said that too. You just need to restructure it a little bit, okay? But really good work on the value proposition. And the value proposition is a really important thing to use and to develop, because you can actually use it in a networking opening, right? When you go out networking or you're online and you're talking about yourself. I don't think to save time and money on university costs. So you could use this in a multitude of formats. You can use it on your website, because now that somebody lands on your website, they know exactly who you work with. You're speaking to their challenge, and then you're saying, hey, this is what we created for you, and this is how it's going to benefit you. You want to know more? Come on into our website, right? Or you use it at online networking, or you could use it when you're making a call to a new client or prospect, right? So yeah, some examples of good value propositions. These are really, really short ones. Send better email, MailChimp. That's exactly what they do. A great shave for a few bucks a month, the Dollar Shave Club. A ride in minutes, Lyft. Vimeo, make life worth watching. Weebly, the easiest way to make a website. So these are really, really short, but really work and hone in on your value proposition, because that's a really critical piece to identifying not only who's your ideal customer, but you're speaking to their challenge and pain. You're sharing what you've created, and you're sharing the benefit of what they're going to get in working with you. All right. And I work with doctors. I'm just going on the chat here, everybody. Oh no, we got that. Okay. I work with high school students in the same year of high school planning and planning what's next. We provide guidance on programs and post-secondary available based on the initial assessment. We have a 4-step process for students, help the application process in universities and colleges. This is a great investment on the future. Again, Helen, you're almost there. You just need to sort of tighten it up a bit, okay, and shorten it up. So it doesn't have to be long. It just needs to answer those 4 critical questions of what goes in your value proposition. And catching in, no worries. You're doing really well. So again, who do you work with? What's their challenge? What have you created for them? Keep it kind of short. And then how does that help them? Right? How does that impact their lives, their business, their bottom line? Right? What does it do? Right? So really, really, MailChimp, they're clear on what they do, right? Hey, you have to send better email, or you get a great shave for a few bucks a month, or Lyft, a ride in minutes. Sometimes on a bad day, you got to wait for a long time for taxi. Vimeo, make life worth watching. That's a video. That's like, it's not like YouTube, but it's a platform for you to post videos. And then Weebly, the easiest way to make a website. So that's what they do. That's the end result. You really got to be mindful in communicating the results and your value consistently to your customers. And it's those results that's going to get you the attention. So I mentioned that this value proposition is a key component of the business model canvas. And here's the actual canvas. That's what it looks like. And when you print it off, it's a one-page map. And it's like looking at your business on one page. So like, who are some key partners, people that you're going to work with? What are key activities you have to do every day to get the job done? What are some key resources that you need in order to produce, make, manufacture, sell your products or services? What are the costs? Where's revenue going to come from? What's the relationship or the service or the experience the customer is going to have working with you? What are some channels of communications in terms of marketing or reaching your customers? Where do you have to be to get them? And then who are you going to call on? So I'm really big and a big believer of segmenting your market and not going after a big, huge market. Bringing taking your target and dividing it into segments. We're going to get to that shortly. And then really focusing your messaging on those segments. And that's where your value proposition meets your customers. Okay? Your value proposition should speak to the segments that of your target market that you're wanting to go after. Okay, you have to speak directly and differently to each customer segment that you're going after. Helen, I'm going to use you as an example because I know you a little bit. So you have two segments. One are students and one are the parents, right? So your messaging to students for kids has to be different from what you're going to say to a parent, right? Because a parent has different needs and goals and challenges than their kids, right? So you need to speak to that in your value proposition. So I would write a value proposition for each segment, each customer segment that you're going to work with. Okay? All right. Good job. Let's continue. So we're talking about step 2 of the sales process, research. So we got to know ourselves. We got to know our value. We got to be able to communicate it. We have to get really clear as to what we're going to do for people and what they're going to get when they're going to work with us. The next thing you got to know is you got to know your customers, right? So what do you want to know or ask your customers? Take a minute to think, prepare, and share. What do you want to know or ask your customers? This is a really critical piece. Yeah, you want to know, their delivery situations, what their relationship to quality is. Their current life situation, yeah, better way to serve them, what are their needs? I'm looking in the chat. Yeah, really. So you really want to know where they're at, what they want, where they want to go, what are their goals, what are their objectives, what are their budgets, right? So you got to know your customers and your competitors. You got to know what's happening with your clients. What are their frustrations and challenges? Or what are their pain? What pain are they in? And then you got to also know what's happening in your industry. What are some success stories? Who in your sector is succeeding? Why is that? What is the competitor's mindset, their business model, the recipe? What are they doing that you might need to be doing, right? So I'm just going to go into the chat real quick. Best way to serve them. Are you giving your employees, customers recognition for their achievements that can help them achieve their career goals? Yeah, way to go, Kathleen. Yeah, so you really want to know what's going on with your customers. Like where are they at? What do they want? What what would they like to see happen instead, right? It's really about getting close to your customers, and that's really what consultative selling is all about. So you want to know, like, who's your ideal customer? What makes them ideal? Maybe is there a segment or a niche that you really love to serve? Who's got the greatest need for my services? What are the characteristics of my customers? Are they women? Are they men? Are they kids? Who are they? And again, what are your clients' challenges and problems that you solve? Because when you approach somebody and say, okay, in our research, we're finding that companies like yours are really challenged by this. And if that's so, we have an idea or a service or a product that's going to help you overcome that. And would that be something you'd be open to, right? When you approach somebody like that on a cold call or a prospecting call, you're going to get their ear and their attention because you're showing that you know them, you've done the research, and you know what's going on for them, and you know a challenge or problem they have, and that you've got an idea, a solution, a product, a service that's going to help them manage that and get over that and overcome that. And if that's how you're approaching somebody, they're going to want to have a meeting with you. They're going to want to go to that next step in the sales process, which is that sit down and have a Zoom meeting and really about where you're at, what you need, and let's see how we could really, help you get there. All right? Does that make sense for everybody? So you really got to know your clients and you got to know yourself. The other thing that's really important is to know, where do I want to play? Who do I want to work with, right? Who's my ideal client? Where are my clients going to come from? So this idea of segmenting the target market is really important. But in order to do that, we got to really understand, like, okay, well, who are we going to call on? So a market is simply any group of actual or potential buyers of a product or service. And there's three that you need to really focus on. One's the not-for-profit market, organizations that solve social economic issues and hire people to help them meet their goals, or for the funders that they serve. So the not-for-profit market are like cities, social service agencies, hospitals, right? They're not selling you anything. They're offering services to help the fabric of society. Then there's the industrial market, which is the business-to-business market, as it's called. And these are groups of organizations and companies that purchase your product or service to help them produce their product and service, right? It helps them do their day-to-day operation. They're going to hire you to help them sell, market, make, and provide goods and services and help their people work more effectively. So Carol, in your case, like of doing stress management, health, reflexology, maybe one of their initiatives could be to have a health and wellness strategy. And so they'll bring you in to work with their team to help with their overall health and wellness. And then when they do that, they build morale, right? And good employee conditions. And their employees are going to feel, man, my employer really takes care of me. I'm going to work even harder now, right? I'm really going to be dedicated to helping them. So when there's a give back, and the employer shows that they care about their people, the people are going to care back and probably reach inside and get a little bit more. So it's an example of the industrial market. The other market is the retail sector, right? The B2C, as we call it, business to consumer. That's like the retail service sector, direct to customers, food, clothing, medications, drugs, things like that, right? Going to the grocery store, the drugstore, or buying clothing, that's the retail service sector. There is a fourth, and that's, it's not as big, but it's still it's out there. The reseller market, middlemen or middlewomen, intermediaries, wholesalers, and retailers who buy finished goods and resell them for a profit. An example of a reseller market is General Motors. They make the cars, but you don't go to General Motors head office and say, hey, I see you making cars. Can I buy one here when it comes off the, being manufactured? No, General Motors is going to say, no, you got to go to our reseller market, which are car dealerships, and that's where you buy your car. So that's an example of a reseller market. So the first thing to determining who your ideal client is know what area you want to play in, right? Where do you want to be? And then you develop sort of a contact list and a marketing game plan that's going to get you in front of your customer. And in a consultative sales approach, when you can niche and you can position yourself as an idea person, as a solution provider, as a specialist in your field, as a strategic ally to your prospect, and someone that your customer can count on, give value and results, that's when things start to happen, right? That's when sales happen. That's when you get the attention. But you have to niche. You have to know your customers. You got to really remember we said, who's your customer? What's the challenge they have? What have you done to help them? And what's the end result? That's your value proposition. When you can be clear in communicating that, traction starts to happen. Good things will start to happen. Meetings happen. Sales happen, right? And that's when your sales and marketing conversations can actually go deeper. And then you can deliver a message of value and understanding of the marketplace and your customers and really, really begin to serve them. serve them. Any questions at all? We're doing okay? Moving forward, we've got about 20 minutes left. So I want you to answer these, if you can, on your own. What information do you think you need to know about your clients? Can you think, like, before you call them a prospect? Can you think of 3 points you want to know ahead of calling that prospect or client? Where can you go to obtain client data and research? Can you think of 3 resources? And how can you include customer data and research into your sales conversation? And then why does knowing a client's issues or problems ahead of time help you entice a client and get them to respond more openly to your offer, call, or conversation? So just take a couple of minutes just to work on answering these questions. Thanks, Aman. Have a good day, and yes, Laura will send the recording to you. Okay, I'm seeing some good feedback in the chat. Um, they're looking for a new partner and or open for pitch. Dean says, oh, an I can't say that word. The assessment will want to talk before doing that. You want to know their background related to Europe and what do they want the citizenship for. Yeah, so you want to know what's going on with your client, and then you can sort of tailor your offering to suit what they need, right? And even tailor your messaging to suit what they need. Wow, that's really good. Any others? This is something I think for the sake of time we'll kind of gloss over, but work on this on your own, okay? Like, because you've got the slides. This is like a little bit of homework. 3 key points ahead of calling. You want to know the business category and the challenge, any customer insights that you might have, and what's going on in the market. That's from Inram. Thank you. Excellent. So this is something to work on. Now I got some homework for you. And this is for next week. I want you to think of your top 3 clients. What do you know about them now? How does knowing this information help facilitate the sales process or the sales conversation? And what are 3 bits of information, new bits of information you want to know about these clients? The clients. What do you want to know about them? What are 3 things you might want to know about them? What do you know about them now? And here's the challenge. I want you to call 3 of your best clients, and if you don't have any, call 3 of your best associates, and just do a pretend. I want to book a planning session with you to discuss their needs, wants, goals, budgets, and find out how you can serve your associates even better. So if you can take this on for next week, that would be huge. Okay? Huge. Let's move forward. Here's a little case study. It's my client, Pamela. I mentioned the importance of niching segmentation. And so Pamela came to us for some coaching, and she was in a small business training program I was working on, and she had a little bit of a problem. She was doing stress management for women 25 to 55. And she came to us and said, I don't know, my message isn't getting traction. And we took her aside and we sat in the boardroom, and I went up to the flip chart and I drew a big circle, right? I said, Pamela, who are all the kinds of women in your target market? Who are all the different kinds of women, 25 to 55? Tell me about them. Well, there's, you know, single women who just starting out in a job. Then there's married women with kids and older parents to look after and a family, and they work and then they commute. And then there's, you know, single, self-employed. Then there's, you know, single, self-employed women with kids. So there were all these kinds of women. There were actually, we had a list of about 12 different types of women in this category that she could go after. And I asked her, I said, who are the women, in your estimation, that have the most stress among these 12? And who do you like to work with? Who do you relate to? Because this would be part of her ideal client profile. So we determined she was going to go after 4 types of women. She was going to go after single, working, with kids. They have any stress? Yeah, I think so. And what she did was mindfulness training, meditation classes, relaxation CDs, and one-on-one counseling. And then we determined that another market she'd go after a single self-employed woman with kids. Do you think they have any stress? You're single, you're running a business, and you got kids. Then married working women with kids, right? And older parents. And then married, working with kids, and commuting. So those were the 4 segments she was going to go after. So now, let's say Pamela wanted to connect with single, self-employed with kids, those kind of women. So she would now go to a business networking event, more specifically, a businesswoman's networking event, and she'd stand up and introduce herself and now say, "Hi, are you single, self-employed with kids? You know the stress it takes to not only run a business but to raise a family on your own? What I do is I offer stress management programming to help you get your balance back, your life back, and have more energy to invest in your business, yourself, and your family. If you want to work with me, I'm Pamela, and I'm your anti-stress," right? So now when she stood up and she understood her market, and she understood the problem, and she understood the value of what she offered, she started to get traction. So at that networking event, there were always about 2 or 3 women at that event that were single, self-employed with kids. And they come up to her and say, "I want to know more," right? So you got to get in the mindset that not everybody you're going to talk to is going to buy from you. Not everybody's going to want what you've got when you want to sell it. But the right people will. You know, if you got 2 to 3 clients or leads at every networking event you went to, you'd be pretty happy. So start really segmenting your market, getting really clear as to who you're going after and what's going on for them. What's their challenge? What do you have for them? How is it going to help them? And watch what happens. Good things will happen. So why do you want to segment or niche your market? Why does Pamela want to segment or niche her market? Why do you think that strategy helped Pamela build her business? Any ideas? Just blurt it out, you know, whatever comes to mind. Why does that strategy help Pamela? Yeah, focus for sure. Connecting right to the customers, connecting to what matters to the customers. And branding, yeah, it'll help with her branding as well. Communicating with what triggers them. Imran, beautiful, great, great, great. Okay, stop. You got to really remember that part. Okay, the key segmenting your market and really sort of dividing them up, maybe. And I wouldn't go after more than 2 or 3 markets or segments because then it's really hard to manage. I'm really a big believer of niching your market, of niche. Okay. So just a little bit of a review. Good selling starts with compelling conversation. And one way to, you know, have compelling conversation is is knowing your value, knowing what you bring to the table, and knowing how you can help your client. Another good way is knowing your client. What's going on for them? What's going on in their world? What's their pain, their challenge, their issues, and how you can help them solve it or get over it. And then know your competitors, know what they're doing and not doing, and where are the gaps? Where can you kind of, oh, my competitor's not doing that. I could go in there, right? And then really know the benefits of your offering. Remember the benefits: product, service, relationship, brand, right? And then communicate those benefits. And learn to fascinate your products. Don't be bland or boring. Have fun. Add a little intrigue, humor, mystery, engage people, right? We need a little bit of laughter and fun in this environment that we're in, you know? And then ask to connect. Ask to connect. I'm just going to go to the chat for a quick sec. What's the customer's expectation? Provide solutions for these types of women. Exactly. You always want to see if you can provide good ideas and solutions to help the customer overcome their challenge or problem. Really well done. Thanks, Kathy. That's great. Okay, let's move forward. We've got a few minutes left. So let's practice what we might say to a client. Let's practice what we might say to a client on the phone. So we have about 9 minutes left. I want you to work on this, and this is what you would say if you're calling somebody, or maybe you'd say this if you're doing like networking, like one of these online networking events. I want you to simply state who you are, right? Hi, I'm Bob. I'm from XYZ Insurance Company. And what we do, so then what you do, in simple terms, we sell insurance, or we sell life insurance. One or two benefits of your service. So if anything happened to you, your family would be protected, and they could live in the lifestyle that they wouldn't have to suffer, right? So those are benefits of life insurance, right? So simply state who you are, where you're from, and what do you sell in simple terms, and then what's one or two key benefits of your product or service, and how might that customer benefit from that, and then end with a gauging question to see if they're open to meet or move forward in some way. All right, so take a moment or 2 minutes to work on that. This is what you would say when you call somebody on the phone for the first time. Okay, so anybody want to share? Or if you can, work on this next week and then come back to the class next week and share your opening statement. So it's really simple. It's like, hi, I'm Joe, and I'm with a health and wellness company. And what we do is we work with organizations to help manage the stress and among their employees that so that they have better stress management techniques, and they're more effective in the workplace. And it also helps to improve the employee morale because you're doing something to benefit your employees. So if you want to have better team morale, manage stress effectively, and get better results, I'd love the opportunity to meet with you. How's next Tuesday at 2? And that's kind of how it would go, right? And then you just shut up after you ask that, right? You don't have to go on anymore. All you're on the hook for when you're having a conversation with somebody is this. It's 10 seconds. That's it. It's all you got. So really drill it down to like 10 seconds, go in and stop. And then the customer is going to say something really magical. They're going to say, yeah, next Tuesday at 2 works, right? That's when you buy a lotto ticket. Or they'll say no, and that's okay. Next week we're going to probe the no. We're going to ask questions like, "Hey, okay, I get it's no. Is it no forever? Is it no right now? Are you open to this maybe down the road? Do you need more information?" Because here's the reason it's usually no. They don't know enough about you to say yes. You just called them for the first time. There's no relationship, so they got to get to know you, and that's why you want to, continue to build a relationship until such time as they're ready to buy them. So prospecting, it's also about marketing. So you want to, you want to do what you can do to reach your clients and get them interested, right? You want to use your marketing and prospecting to attract a buyer, to want to meet with you and explore working with you. And then you got to be creative. You got to think of ways that you're going to, connect your prospective buyer. So you really got to really be mindful of that. So don't get freaked out when it's no. Just use the no as an opportunity to probe. It's an opportunity to ask permission to ask questions. Probe the no and see if they're open to working with you down the road. And if you can nurture the relationship until such time that they're ready. And nurturing the relationship might be, yeah, maybe you do send an email to them. Maybe you do give them a call once a month just to check in and say hi, right? Maybe you do send them something in the mail. Maybe you do invite them to your group on social media. Maybe you do send them a video if you want to. Maybe you do host a webinar so you educate your buyer. These are ways that you can connect to your buyer, nurture the relationship, and show that you're there for their best interest and that you're using that consultative sales approach. So prospecting, it's about finding leads or people who might be prospects. And it's probably the most important part of the selling process because it's the time that you're going to reach out and connect to people. If you don't do that, you're not going to have a business, right? So you've got to identify who's my ideal client. Is there an niche I like to work with? Do your homework on them like we discussed. What do you know about them? What are some of the issues, challenges, problems, what's going on in the world, right? And then begin the process of the outreach and marketing and even talking to your customer. That's what prospecting is all about. It's the most vital part of the sales process. Without it, you won't make sales. And without constantly searching for new prospects, you won't be able to replace customers who you might lose, they might go elsewhere, right? So this is the old sales funnel. You want to identify prospects, you want to get leads. So your leads could be your social media, your marketing, your advertising. Hey, call us, or on your website, sign up for our free report, right? Get our free 30-minute video. That's ways of building leads, getting people to come to you. And then you're going to prospect. You're going to have conversations with them about where they're at and what you do for them. And then hopefully the sales process will turn them into customers. And that's kind of what we're going for, okay? I hope that helps. Just got a couple minutes left. So here's some 12 ways to prospect. First of all, scheduling. Get committed to sales prospecting. Get committed to making those calls. Make warm calls as opposed to cold calls. Create your ideal customer prospect profile. Create that customer list. Who am I going to call on? Right? What are the customers I'm going to go after? Attend networking events, learning events online now, but attend them. Don't sell on the phone. Don't sell on social media, but develop relationships, get to know a customer, be and position yourself as an expert. Once you've got a customer, request referrals, ask for referrals. I never ask somebody new for referral because they don't know me yet. And get involved in social selling. And Laura, we'll talk about that next week a little bit, okay? In terms of social selling. And that's using your social media to do some of the sales work and legwork with you. And really, you want to use the social media channels to build trust, to build your brand, and to educate the client. And that's really what you want to use your social media for. Yes, to have fun, yes, to network, but be more strategic in terms of how you use social media to attract people to your office, okay, or to your business. Always follow up with people. Take advantage of automation, CRM solutions like newsletters, like MailChimp or services like that. Always, if you can, deliver relevant, customized content to people that's informative, that's helpful, that's going to help them get results. And focus your efforts on the right people, right? Focus your efforts on the right people. Here's just a last slide, and I think just for the sake of time, I want to be on time. We're at 12:01. There's hundreds of ways that you can approach people. You know, you can send your resume out to people if you want. You can send a brochure, job boards, by phone, trade show, networking, buying an ad, TV, print, mass media. All these things are available to you. All of them. So you just have to choose wisely. So here's the last piece. This is the last bit of homework. What are 5 ways you're gonna take on to market and look for clients? What are 5 ways? Who's your ideal client and why? What's the goal of prospecting? So I want you to have this ready for next week. When you call a prospect, warm calling, should you sell to them? If not, why not? And can you share 2 to 3 niche markets that maybe you'll tap into? And why does having a niche help you focus and be more effective sales-wise? So next week, we're going to look at the power of storytelling. Oh my God, I can't believe I got through this in under 2 hours. The art of questions and selling. We're going to look at the art of asking good questions. And we're going to do step 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7 in the sales process next week. Any questions as I wrap? Any questions?
So, David, we did have a couple questions, and for anyone who wants to stay on, we can go beyond a little bit, and this will also be recorded. If you have to drop off, thank you for joining us. And David, thank you very much for this first very informative session. I learn something new every time I listen to this. So thank you. The couple questions are, one is for those who are afraid of selling, do you have any of those really hardcore, those little tips that you could never read in a book, but from your lifetime of experience you could share with us?
Okay, back in the day when I had hair. It was a few years ago. I would start small. So I would start off with a smaller client, right? And I would practice on them. And so the stakes or the risk wasn't that high. Like if they said no, it's like, oh yeah, okay. So they're only ordering $100 or $500 a year from me, right? And so it wasn't a high risk. But what I did is I practiced on the smaller clients and I got better. And then I got better enough that I could call them the bigger clients because the risk there and the reward there was way greater, right? So I eventually, went from these little independent small businesses to calling on larger companies in the tech field and in the packaged goods industry. So that's what I would do is I practice and cut your teeth on the low risk clients, but also put an accountability buddy or join a mastermind group and practice with somebody, a colleague that you can trust and ask for feedback. There's also a really good site called oh man, what's it called? Selling. I'm forgetting, Selling Power, sellingpower.com. They've got all kinds of instructional videos on any sales issue you have, and it's free. Sellingpower.com. I hope that helps. Any other?
Oh, that's great. I'll drop that link in the chat just in case anyone doesn't have access to that. The other one was doing research, and you talk so much about it. And I know from a marketing standpoint, we talk about that all the time. And asking your ideal client certain questions is always great and rich. But what about secondary research? Is there a place that you could recommend us to get information that is on a bootstrap budget?
Yeah, totally. And I want to thank Carol for her comment. It was my birthday yesterday. So thanks, Carol, for the wish. Yeah, what I like to do to get research is I go onto Google and I go into Google News. And let's say I'm calling on a certain industry sector. So let's say it's manufacturing companies in Canada. So I'll Google News manufacturing in Canada, and then Google News is going to give me all the news stories about that industry. And so on the bottom, usually of that page, Google's going to ask you, do you want to create a Google News alert? And I go, yeah, do I? For sure, I do. And then do you want it once a day, every week? And I go, every week, and I want the best stories. So once a week in my email, they're going to send me news stories about manufacturers in Canada, right? And I really like that. And you can do it for your industry too. So Carol, like your industry, Carol Lee, who's on the call, you could do like alternative health and wellness, or postpartum and prenatal, like somebody, so Google News it and look at the stories, and then you get all these stories and information that helps you do the sale. Can I give you one really quick example of how that worked with a client? So I had a client in the 2008 recession that really affected the real estate market, and she was a home stager. And she came in almost in tears, going, "Oh my God, there's no sales. Nobody's doing anything." And I went, "Okay, let's look at Google News. What's going on in the home staging industry?" And we found a study, Laura, or a report from Florida, and Florida got real hard hit by that real estate recession back then. And the study said that homes that were staged were selling for 7% more, and they were selling faster. And I went, her name was Deborah, our client. I said, Deborah, you've got to use this. This is all you have to say in your sales pitch. Hey, so she'll call on real estate agents and go, "Hey, Joe, do you know that studies show that homes that are staged sell for 7% more and they sell faster? If that's the result you'd like, that's what we do. We help you get that. I'd love to meet you next Tuesday at 2. We can show you our portfolio and start really talking about how we can help you, grow your business and sell more." So what real estate agent in their right mind is going to refuse that
That's great. There are so many other online forums too. I know even with Reddit and Quora, you could go online and just see kind of even what they're saying, what their challenge is. It's a bit of a time-consuming thing, but it is online forums can help as well.
And also smartbriefs.com, I think, or smartbriefs.com. And they have all these industry briefs that you can get in your email box Monday to Friday with news stories. So the more you know about your industry and how it impacts people, it can really shape your sales conversations in a way different way that's going to make you stand out from your.
I have not seen Smart Brief before. That's excellent. I just dropped it in the chat. For that, I dropped. Someone else dropped it in.
Yeah, me.
Oh, did you do that? Oh, you're ahead of me. Look at you, you are so fast.
I know. I might have got it wrong. It's either Smart Brief or Smart Briefs, and they have a brief for every industry you can imagine. So in my email box, I get Smart Briefs on small business. That's it. Perfect, right? So.
Oh my goodness, I'm totally signing up for that. That's great. Another question is, when client ignores and don't answer your call or email, what message is suggested for them?
Well, I think you have to do a different strategy. So maybe you send something in the mail with their name on it and something fun that they can keep that relates to your business. So I'll give you another example. I was in a different industry way back when, promotional products and incentives and convenience, and I did a direct mail campaign. I included a stress ball, and the letter said, "Are you stressed about your marketing? Don't worry, help's on its way." Right? And then a week later, I sent another little mailing, and it was a magic wand. Want a little magic in your marketing? Don't worry, we're going to be calling you soon. Right? The week after, I called and followed up, and I targeted this to only 20, and out of the 20, 8 said, "Yeah, come and see me." So divvy it up, give them a call, shake it up. You know, direct mail, I love. We don't use it enough. And when you get something fun in the mail directed to you, you're like, you made my day. You know, you can sell candy, chocolate. I did a campaign for a client where she was launching a company that that copied data. So let's say you wanted to send out 1,000 brochures to people. Well, what she did is she would put it on a USB stick with your logo on it, and then you could mail the USB stick and they could access the data, right? So her company was called Home Run Disc Solutions. And so she wanted to tap into the previous clients from another company. And so we sent out, and her company was Home Run Disc Solutions. So we used the baseball team. We got this pack of Big League Chew from the bubble gum from the convenience store. We got it wholesale. And we sent out packages of Big League Chew bubble gum and a sales letter that said, "Hey, we're just, we want to, we're just opening up on our own. We're called Home Run Distribution. We want to, hit your next marketing mail campaign out of the park. We'd love to chew things over with you." And then the bubble gum, right? And the chewing gum, right? And chew things over with you, and the baseball team. So do something like that. Be a little bit creative. It doesn't have to cost a lot.
Excellent. Great tips. Thanks, David.
You're
Well,
welcome.
we are out of time. You guys can,
Kashu has one starting a business in a new country.
okay.
I would personally go to your local economic development office there and see how they can help you. I would also, and then the local chamber of commerce or board of trade would probably tap in there to start talking to the board of trade's members, and they might have some good customers for you to call on and start doing business. The other thing, Kashubu, on that is team up with somebody that's in the industry you want to, and maybe work with them for a little bit, right?
Yeah, and that's similar going out of Mississauga, but for anyone who wants to now do business in Mississauga, that's what our department does. So
Yeah.
we have a whole website of data and research, and if you can't find what's on there, you can contact us, and I'm sure that's similar in all sorts of places across the globe, actually.
Yeah. I hope that answers everybody's questions and you had a good time today.